Good morning, everyone. It's April 14th, 2019. There are people out there who are a threat to others. And depending on who they are, the level of threat and who they are a threat to changes. For example, a pedophile is a threat to specific ages of children. Some pedophiles like children from newborn to say 2, 3. Others will like them a little older. And then you have like police, another example. They are a threat to the citizens of a particular city, state, or country. Then you have threats that are a threat to everybody. Everyone. And there's only one way for these threats to not exist anymore. And the threats who pose a detriment to all living people on the planet should be dealt with. I say this because I'm here at DC Clothesline, and I see the Clintons as being one of the biggest threats we face. I know, you might think it's a laughable notion, but I'll get down to it in just a moment here. Just think of the number of crimes that this family has gotten away with ever since Bill's became governor of Arkansas. The amounts of cocaine that was allowed to pass through their municipal airport there. Just think of all of the people who have been connected to the Clintons and ended up dead suspiciously. And now here's an article out of DC Clothesline. Now, I will admit that the DC Clothesline is very biased towards the right. However, these things are well verified. So, that bias aside, let's hit it. This is written by Corey Lynn, by the way. The question on everyone's mind, and I'm not really sure that's true, but are Bill and Hillary Clinton connected to or involved with child sex trafficking or child labor trafficking networks, or are they advocates for children as they portray themselves to be? Though the focus is on both Bill and Hillary, this report will primarily break down a timeline of Hillary's work as it relates to children, in addition to both of their connections with individuals who have been indicted and or convicted of crimes against children, because they are stacking up. The information that follows will provide facts for each person to use their own discernment in determining what they believe to be truth or until further information is revealed. Human trafficking is a $150 a billion dollar industry. In 1970, Hillary worked at Yale Child Study Center, learning about early childhood brain development, and research assistant on the book Beyond the Best Interests of the Child, and handled cases of child abuse at Yale New Haven Hospital. In 1970, summer of 1970, Hillary worked on Walter Mondale's subcommittee on migratory labor. 1971, met husband Bill Clinton, interned at law firm some shit I can't pronounce, Walker and Bernstein, where she worked on child custody and other cases. 1973, postgraduate study on children and medicine at Yale Child Study Center. Her article, Children Under the Law, was published in the Harvard Educational Review. Staff attorney at Marian Wright Edelman's Children's Defense Fund in Cambridge, Massachusetts, consultant to Carnegie Council on Children. Well, that was a mouthful. 1977, co-founded Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families, a state-level alliance with Children's Defense Fund, and worked pro bono in child advocacy during her work at Rose Law Firm. 1979, published Children's Policies, Abandonment and Neglect and Children's Rights, a Legal Perspective. 1985, introduced Arkansas's home instruction programs for preschool youth, preparedness and literacy. 88 to 92, Children's Defense Fund chair of the board and on the board of Arkansas's Children's Hospital Legal Services. 1995, wrote an article on orphan children that led to the Adoption and Safe Families Act in 1997. 1996, published a book, It Takes a Village, and Other Lessons Children Teach Us. Well, I hope they get into the criminalizing or telling, we'll call it, shit here in a moment. Otherwise, I'm going to have to scrap this damn video. 1997, supported state children's health insurance program and promoted nationwide immunization against childhood diseases, hosted child care conference and early childhood development and learning conference at the White House, initiated and shepherded the Adoption and Safe Families Act, which requires states to terminate parental rights for children in foster care for 15 out of 22 months, and provided funding for efforts in encouraging adoption as well as subsidies for adoptive children up through age 19. What's that about? Why would they want to have the parental rights of people terminated like that? Could it be they want to sell the children that they just took away from somebody into the highest bidder? Could be. and you don't think this happens, do some research. These agencies are well known for child trafficking, and yet no one does a fucking thing about it. It's really starting to come down. Really starting to come down. And let me tell you, once it starts raining, it doesn't seem to stop for a long ass time. Okay. By executive memorandum, her husband, President Bill Clinton, added the Adoption 2002 initiative, which aimed to lower barriers to adoption so as to double the rate of adoption by 2002. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are a lot of abandoned children out there, but who are they adopting these kids to? That's the problem. In 1999, they were instrumental in passing Foster Care Independence Act, doubling federal funding for teenagers opting out of foster care, launched the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children, along with Lady Catherine Meyer and Sherry Booth Blair. Let me stop right there. Have you ever noticed that the people who really put themselves out there, just let me give you an example here. Like this. The most dedicated people, it's always the most dedicated people who are usually the ones, they're hiding behind their dedication to a cause. And this is a great example right here. Highly decorated cop charged with 20 counts of raping dogs, including his own police canine. Now, this guy was, as they say, highly decorated, therefore he must have been very, very dedicated to what he was doing, right? Hiding behind his dedication to law enforcement were extreme perversions. And I would be willing to bet my life that this trait can be found in the majority of highly dedicated people, that inside of them lurks serious fucking perversions. And I'm not talking about people like, you know, a person that's dedicated to their work as in warehouse work. I'm talking about people who are dedicated to things like politics, social work, law enforcement. Let's check out some of the facts on this. I know it's a split off, but it's a good example, right, of what I'm talking about. This was in Bossier City, Louisiana. A police officer from Bossier City Police Department was arrested in December for filming an unspeakable act with an animal. Police officer Terry Yetman, 38, has been charged with multiple counts of sexual abuse of animals, and he produced the evidence himself. Now, however, it appears that one of his animal victims was his own police canine. Over 20,000 people have since signed a petition for his prosecution. Thousands of in defense of animal supporters were moved by this horrific case and want to see justice done. Let me get down to where they talk about his personality here. Okay. Yetman rather, was a decorated officer on the department's domestic task force. The task force was responsible for championing the rights of domestic violence victims and their families. And just last year, Yetman was awarded the 2018 Trey Hutchinson Award for his work on the force. Okay. Officer Yetman was given this award and recognized for his outstanding efforts over the past year to champion the protective rights of domestic violence victims and their families. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to help others. I'm not saying that by any means. Okay? But what I am saying is it seems like a lot of these dedicated people, these people that are really, really dedicated, hide behind this dedication to their jobs. And I propose that that's exactly what has been going on with all of their work here, the Clintons. Okay? Okay. 2000 hosted Children at an Adolescence Conference and Conference on Teenagers at the White House. 2005 introduced the Family Entertainment Protection Act with other senators to protect children from inappropriate content found in video games. 2007, via Clinton Health Access Initiative, worked in Pakistan to train nurses and midwives to perform both births and abortions. 2009, via Clinton Health Access Initiative, worked in Zambia, Maui, Haiti, Mexico, and Central America to train nurses and midwives to do the same. Partnered with the Polaris Project, who runs the National Human Trafficking Resource Center and Hotline, and is also a Clinton Global Initiative member to build an anti-trafficking approach replicable worldwide. So, it seems to me that the Clintons have set themselves up to have readily available access to defenseless children. That's what it looks like. 2010, Clinton Health Access received $25 million from IKEA and CHIA to join the Every Woman, Every Child initiative, so CHIA can partner with governments to educate moms on the right treatment for their child's diarrhea and encourage manufacturers to develop child-friendly formulations with a focus in Kenya. I'm not even going to try to pronounce those other two. 2012, hosted a Clinton Global Initiative conference focusing on human trafficking with former President Obama as the keynote speaker. Bill of 2013, through Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation, focused on early childhood development and initiative. Too Small to Fail, led by former Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard, to encourage girls worldwide to enroll in secondary schools. They lead No Ceilings, the Full Participation Project, a partnership with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to study data on progress of girls and women around the world via Clinton Health Access Initiative, launched a 7-year year health program in Rwanda with Ivy Leagues from the U.S. and $150 million from the U.S. government to train over 6,000 young women to be nurses and midwives, and again for performing both births and abortions. In 2014 partnered with the Polaris Project, a CGI member, in creating an online global modern-day slavery database directory. 2018 campaigned for women's rights, or women's right to abortion, and cheered Governor Cuomo's, however you say it, on leading up to this his announcement of passing New York's new abortion laws, allowing abortions up to full term, which remove legal protections for failed abortions where babies are born alive, meaning they allow them to die. Does all of this involvement with children equate to people who are advocating for children? Or is it cover, wow, these people, I didn't read this article, by the way, before I presented it. I just saw it and thought, hey, I bet that would make a good video. And it seems that they're right in the same frame of thought as I am about this. Does all of this involvement with children equate to people who are advocating for children, or is it cover for other nefarious actions? Review all of the information below to draw your conclusions. Last year, the Clinton Health Access Initiative, CHIA, another entity that was never filed properly and is operating illegally, received over $11 million for an award from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, a huge contributor to the Clintons and the NORAD, who also helped fund their 10-Island Challenge program. The award was allegedly for saving the lives of mothers and newborns. Hillary's involvement with the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Back in the mid-1990s, Belgium reached out to the National Center for Missing and Exploiting Children in request for assistance with their missing children issues. The NCMEC's board, or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, board of directors authorized the creation of a new organization that would devote itself to doing globally what NCMEC was committed to doing in the United States. In 1998, members of the board of the newly created International Center for Missing and Exploited Children held their first meeting in April of 1999. It was launched by then First Lady Hillary Clinton, Lady Catherine Meyer, and Cherry Booth Blair, wife of former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. The full archive press release can be viewed at that link, and I will leave a link in the description box so you can go through the links if you want to. Richard Branson's mother, Eve Branson, was a founding board member of ICMEC in 1999 and served on the board of directors until 2005. Richard Branson was ICMEC's founding sponsor. ICMEC is a 501c3 tax-exempt charity supported entirely by private funds and resources and is headquartered in Alexandria, Virginia. It is a non-governmental agency. It also has an Asia Pacific office and Latin America and Caribbean office. Since their inception, they have helped to create 4 national or regional missing and exploited children centers around the world. One of those is the Global Missing Children's Network, which happened to launch in 1998, the same year ICMEC launched. There are 29 member countries on 5 continents allegedly working to help recover missing and abducted children. And if they were really doing that, wouldn't you think there would be more recovery and less missing? So, Bill and Hillary Clinton's ties with Richard Branson go way back as well as forward. They are all currently working together on the 10-Island Challenge pilot program, which launched in 2012 and began with 10 islands and quickly evolved to over 20 islands all throughout the drug and child trafficking transits in the Caribbean. Since their inception, they have now branched out to form alarming new partnerships and focus on the tourism and hotel industry. You might recall a video I did some time back about how an investigative journalist, and I don't recall his name, went to Las Vegas to find out how easy it would be to, to get a child to his room. And it turned out that it wasn't that hard at all. And that is exactly why they would be getting involved with the hotel and hospitality industry. Again, no one has caught Hillary and Bill Clinton red-handed in the act in some of these things. Although there's said to be a video of she and Uma Abedin murdering a child in the basement, I think it was the basement of Comet Pong Pizza or something like that over there in Washington. I don't know if the video's real or not, but in my opinion, people that seem to be that dedicated to something, they always, well, I won't say always, but most of the time, they're doing something perverted or fucked up behind the scenes. And again, I would bet my life right now that these two people are involved with some heinous, disgusting shit. And I would venture to say that had the Clintons not existed, our world would be a better place. Tell me, am I wrong? And tell me, why do we continue to put up with these people? Why do we continue to put up with people who have nothing but hatred and bad intentions for us? Why do we continue to put up with people like this carrying guns around, arresting individuals, violently arresting individuals and throwing them in cages when they are doing things like fucking dogs in their private life. Not only that, they're not only arrested or doing shit like fucking dogs in their private life, but they're also busy doing what? For repeatedly raping a mentally challenged woman for years. And we thought we put up with these people year after year. Where the fuck are you? Where are you? Kill the state before the state kills you.